Hey guys, it is Priestess LaMeel from LaMeel.com. Welcome to LaMeel TV. We are talking about manifesting today, and I don't know, we'll see where Spirit takes us with this, with this idea. Manifesting money, love, relationships, material things, right? The process essentially is the same. So why are you sometimes very successful at manifesting like a specific type of thing, but then you're stuck in other areas? So I'm gonna give you a little story time here, because I don't think I've done this in like years, right? If you followed me on YouTube, I have always been very private, non-inclusive of my personal relationships. And one of the reasons was, although I was in a relationship or a situationship or whatever the fuck it was, I was very good at manifesting money at times. I could manifest a house. I could manifest things. You know what I mean? Like I would manifest a new house, and the house would be twice the size of the previous house, and you know, my house would be full and beautiful, and we'd have everything that you could possibly think, and stuff that you clearly knew we didn't need but just wanted, right? So I could manifest in that area, but I never talked about my personal relationships, because I didn't feel like I had yet manifested a relationship that I loved, a relationship that was right for me. And so here I was doing all of this manifesting, and in the relationship side, not so much. And what would happen in my life is that when I would try to, right, because we're told to, before I start, if you are new here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button. Here on LaMeel TV, we talk about manifesting money, spirituality, magic, and high vibe living. Welcome. And don't forget to click on the bell so that you get the notifications as new videos come out. So what was I saying? We're taught in life that if you're not good at something, right, you need to give it more energy and you need to focus more on it so you can get better at it. And sometimes people are able to strong arm themselves through that process, and they make it a little bit better, because where your attention flows is where energy goes, right? But the truth is, that's the blender. The truth is, when you are living and coming from a space and a place of spirituality and the fundamental basics of manifesting, you don't give energy and focus to what is not working, because then it continues to not work, and it can affect the things that are working. And so that is what was happening in my life, right? Things would be really, really great. And I had books that came out and published. I was speaking on all these different platforms, and was having these amazing like ritual events and what have you. And then I would be like, this is great. My life is so great. I really want to improve my relationship, my intimate relationship. And so then I would put a lot of energy on it, and all of this other shit would start falling. What? All of the other shit in my life would start falling apart. And that relationship wasn't getting any better. So I had to study it. I started watching patterns, and I started really doing a lot of journaling about my relationship. And there were some things like I already knew it wasn't a good relationship. I already knew it was something I should leave. I already knew, and I would leave. And that's how my life would get really great. I would leave that relationship, but then I would think, oh, all of this stuff is great. Let me focus on this. And it would go to shit right? And everything else would go to shit because all I was focused on was how shitty this is and how I wanted it to be better, right? So my focus was on, this is so shitty. How do I make it better? So I'm sending out the vibes of, this is shitty. This is not what I want. This is not how things are supposed to be, blah, 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 blah. And so, but that signal is being broadcast for everything in my life. So I could never get the relationship that I wanted. And if I focused on the relationship that I was in, even though it was not the relationship that I actually wanted, all of my other stuff would start to dissipate. So that is true with any two elements or two sides of your life in which you're trying to manifest. When you're wanting to manifest, right? When you are dealing with the law of attraction, when you are dealing with other universal laws, you don't focus on what's broken. You don't focus on what is not working. You don't focus on what is bringing you the least amount of joy. You focus on what is working, right? You focus on how happy you are. You focus on what you're already blessed with. You focus on what you are grateful for. And that expands, and it will eventually expand into all the other areas. The other areas will start to work themselves out. So what I experienced was, I was so focused on how bad my relationship was and how it was everything I did not want on every single level. I actually, the stress of that started to manifest in my business and in my relationship with my children and in my friendships. And then physically, I became ill, and the very thing I didn't want was happening because I was focused on the wrong thing. So I'm glad to say I'm not in that relationship anymore. And again, like I said, I managed to pull away multiple times for longer periods of time, maybe kind of have some connection, but not really be emotionally vested because I was having a hard time disconnecting. And I was having a hard time disconnecting because I was in what is called a trauma bond with a covert narcissist. So that's a whole nother thing about how really great women, because all of you are really great women, get caught up. Men can be in relationships with narcissists as well, female narcissists, but how we get caught in that is completely separate. Narcissists are actual predators. So, I'll save that story for another time. I've learned a lot. I have been highly educated on people with bipolar and narcissism. And if you are currently in a situation where you are experiencing or involved with, on any level, any of those type of people who are not seeking proper help. A lot of people who have bipolar take their medicine and they're great people. But when they're not taking their medicine, Lord, help everybody. So when I started and how I came to where I was, and I'm going back to the manifesting process, when I started to focus on just one thing that was working, then I realized there were two things that was working, and then three things that were working, and then more things started to work, and then I physically started feeling better. And this was happening in a matter of days, right? I realized this is not where I want to be. No, I'm not going to engage. And if you're dealing with a relationship like I was dealing, they will behave crazy, and you need to go find out what no contact is. And I think it's called gray wall or gray rock, something like that. But you need to learn those techniques. Those techniques will save your life and change your life and allow you to manifest the things that you want in your life. Now, just in general, right? Even if it's just, I have a really shitty job and I want to change that. What happens is your focus and you're focusing on what's good, right? Those things change your physical vibration. It changes your frequency. It changes the signal that you're sending out. And so regardless of your other situations, good things will start to come in. And if all you do is focus on what's working, not what doesn't work, you actually will start to see changes in the things that were not working. Because the changes in you change your frequency and line you up with something better. Whether somebody meets you on that job and offers you another job, whether a job you applied for years ago calls you and says, we have another job, maybe the people at that job disappear, right? They get promoted, fired, whatever it takes, because your frequency will stop lining you up with the bullshit. So how do you change your frequency? You focus on what's working. And I know this sounds very elementary. There are a million techniques, and there are some really great techniques that I teach, that I offer, that I recommend. This one, hands down, is the easiest place to start. Find one thing that is working. Find one thing that you're grateful for. Go back to that 100 times a day. Tomorrow, maybe you can find 2 things that are working. Because your frequency, it's a way to shift your frequency little by little, right? About 10 years ago, I heard that saying, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is 1 bite at a time. You're looking at other people manifesting and saying, I manifested this, I did this in 2 days. And I have some kick-ass testimonials about women who shifted into things in 10 days or less, or 24 hours. Or I've had people sign up in programs with me, and after our initial consultation, even though the program doesn't start for 2 weeks, manifest shit like crazy. Like their whole lives changed because they made that commitment and we raised their vibration in the phone call, right? So we're looking all at that, thinking that that is how it has to be for you. And it doesn't. It may not be. And when I started years ago, because of where I was, I couldn't get to gratitude and love and and just joy from where the fuck I was. I wasn't a miserable, depressed person, but from where I was, that seemed so high. So if you take the baby steps and you alter your frequency on a regular basis, and you take note to what changes your frequency, you will get there over time. And then eventually you're going to say, I manifested that big thing. And somebody's going to be looking at you going, I've been trying to manifest forever. How did she get there? And then you'll be a testimonial to it's not overnight. Right? It doesn't always happen overnight. Once you get to a certain level, yes, you can do things overnight, and certain things that you don't have attachments to, you can get to overnight. So somebody like myself, right? I could manifest all of these things that were not related to a relationship. Why? Because there was some certain beliefs that I had that back then I didn't even know I had. I didn't even know what the hell they were. Excuse me. It wasn't on my radar, right? You don't know what you don't know. So I didn't know I had to clear energy and beliefs from my parents that I took on. I didn't realize that my relationships were mirroring on some level some abuse through the relationships, my parents. I was picking these people who were doing these horrible things, or you may be picking people that are emotionally manipulative and emotionally abusive. because it feels comfortable, it feels normal, you recognize it because that's how your parents did you, right? So I didn't know all of that, and I didn't have mentor. Nobody around me has ever had a relationship where I'm like, that's what I want. I had a friend once named Alice, and I really liked the communication style that her and her husband had. But that was, I'm doing a video, but that was the extent of it, right? I never really saw a relationship that I was like, oh, I want that. So I was just trying to figure it out, but I didn't know I had all of these backstories from growing up through my parents that I needed to clear and change my belief about before I could manifest it. So sometimes the belief you have, it is a belief, but it's a belief you're willing to let go of, and your focus and your working with tools will shift that belief and break it loose enough for you to manifest in that area. For me, my beliefs around relationships were too solidified. And so I needed to do more work. Yours may be around money, or maybe about owning things or living a specific lifestyle or taking care of you, right? But maybe you make a lot of money and you do other things and you have some great friendships, but you neglect yourself, you put everybody else first, and you can't get the things that you need to grow and prosper and things like that. It's because that belief system around that is so deeply rooted that you do need to go in and do some work to cut those roots. So that would be why you can manifest in some areas very, very easily, and in other areas, not so much. However, regardless of whether or not you're good at it on your own, with training, with the proper focus, with you being able to tune in to the frequency of what you want, you will be able to manifest. And so I want to address one more question that I got last year. I did a bunch of clips from a video training, a live training I had done. And so it was about how do you match the frequency, right? How do you manifest what you want instantly? And the answer really is that you match the frequency of what it is that you want. And so a lot of people were saying that I don't even know what that feels like. What do I do if I don't know the feeling so that I can tap into the frequency of what I want? So when you don't know, so for example, say you want to be a millionaire and you don't know what a millionaire really feels like. You don't know what having financial freedom feels like, or you don't know what being with your dream mate would feel like. Start looking at the qualities of that situation or of that thing. Focus on those qualities, and then those things, it will expand. And before I get a bunch of, it's a sigil on my hand, and it will expand, right? And you'll be able to shift. And as you shift, you'll be able to find more words. And if you don't actually have the words, you want to feel into the feeling, okay? What would it feel like if I did not have to get up and do anything I didn't want to do? What would it feel like to get into the car that I love? What would it feel like to be loved the way that I've always wanted to be loved? What would it feel like to go on that trip? Get into the feeling, look at the properties of it, and find how those things feel. Like, if I had money, I'd be really confident. Okay, so you may not know what being a millionaire feels like, but what does confidence feel like? And build from that. So I hope that you got some value from this video. Before I go, I want to tell you about a new program that I have called the Manifesting Empress. And so this particular training is one of my least expensive trainings that offer some one-on-one with me and some regular ongoing interaction. All of my group dynamics are called journeys. Everyone is working pretty much at their own pace, but within a regulated, space and time. So the Manifesting Empress is a 6-week journey, and it teaches you how to do the basic manifesting. You get access to the Money Madam, which is an awesome course that teaches you how to manifest 1K in 10 days and then collapse time on that and start manifesting it regularly. But in the manifesting journey, you learn, like, what do you need to focus on? Where are the areas that are not working? How do you adjust? How do you collapse time on everything? Some of us, like I said, I used to be able to just manifest certain things, but not relationships. How do you shift that? And how are you able to tap into the frequency of what you want today so that you can have what you want, or at least see evidence that what you want is coming to you almost immediately? So in this dynamic, you get one-on-ones with me, you get live sessions with me weekly for 6 weeks. And we do Q&As so I can answer your personal questions, as well as you get 6 video recorded sessions. You also have practical work. So in your one-on-one, you talk to me, we figure out what are we going to focus on together during the 6 weeks, and then you have practicals where you're learning techniques and you're applying it to that one thing that you are manifesting so that you can see tangible results, if not, depending on where you are versus where you're wanting to go. Either you're going to see all of your baby steps materialize, or the fullness of what it is that you desire materializing within that 6 weeks. So if you're interested, that link is below. Please feel free to join. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell, like, do all the shit. And I'll see you guys again soon.